The only punishment for this dude is that he has to pay the father of this.
Shalom, shalom. It's been a long time since we talked about this, so let's do it again. This law comes up in discussion a lot whenever I am talking to atheists or people who used to be Christians who are now atheists or agnostic. And I'll admit, on the surface, with no context, it sounds bad. But what is this verse really saying? Now, one of the biggest problems that I have with mainstream Christianity is that they come at Scripture with a current modern mindset. These instructions were for a specific group of people at a specific point in time. So what if I were to tell you that this law was actually to protect women? This law states that if a man takes the virginity of a woman, he must do a few things. 1, pay her father 50 shekels of silver. That's about $150 modern money, which doesn't really seem like a lot in the grand scheme of things, but the amount of money is relative throughout time. And I mean, to betray Jesus, Judas accepted double that, which is not a lot of money. He also must marry her, and he is not allowed to divorce her. Now, if you're thinking, that is pretty messed up, I will agree with you that if we are talking about modern times, and a man were to do this to a woman, and she was forced to marry him, move into his house, live with him, be a wife, that would be horrific, and I am not condoning that. But we're not talking about modern days. We're talking about time back then. And in that society, do you know how difficult it was for a woman who was not a virgin to find a husband? A woman who was not able to be married was typically taken care of by her family indefinitely. Now, these women being forced to marry these men didn't mean that they moved in with them and they lived with them and they were required to continue to have relations with this man. No, that's not what this means at all. People did not even traditionally live in houses back then. That's just not how society was set up. Being married to this man did not mean that she was his slave or that she would even be in the same proximity with him ever again. But legally, it did allow her compensation because he would have been required to care for her financially. This would help alleviate some of the burden on the woman's family for having to take care of her indefinitely, financially. Also, it's easy for people to get hung up on the part of the verse that says that this man could never divorce her, thinking that it would condemn her to a lifetime of being legally married to this person who had abused her. However, if she ever chose to, she could divorce him, but then she would be financially on her own again.